everybody. I have one of the best jobs in the world. I get to serve as the director of the Gandhi Institute for Nonviolence. And one of the things that means is that I get to spend time with you of our students. We attract interns and visitors from all around the world as a result of our approach to community-based nonviolence. But there's no people that I welcome more when I get a group of you of our students rolling up the driveway, interested in finding out what we do. So for moms and dads and grandparents in the room, like, good job. I want to talk to you about trust today. As a student of nonviolence, I'm very interested in how power gets used in the world. And as someone who's very involved in issues related to our community, I'm very interested in the use of resources and worried at the misuse of resources that occurs. And one of the things that has really grabbed my interest in the last years is the issue of trust. And I'm beginning to see trust as a potential source of wealth and a source of power that any of us, no matter what our age or rank or position in the world, can use and make use of. I'm also interested in trust because I think actually trust makes for good conflicts. And I want people to be able to have conflicts. Nonviolence is a way to conduct conflict. I'm not interested in preventing conflict. Conflict and creativity are two sides of the same coin. We need to be able to talk about our differences and our challenges. Otherwise, our human creativity is getting locked down at a time when I believe, and I think probably all of you in this room believe, that we need to bring our creativity online to deal with some of the issues that we've got in front of us. So I want to ask you a couple questions. Who here has ever sat in a meeting or at a dinner table where there was a lot of trust going in the group? Anybody? Sat in a room, a dinner table, at a meeting or a conference with a lot of trust? I've asked that question in a number of settings, and the words that people use to describe that is it's fun, it's easy, and it's often really creative. I've also sat in settings where trust was absent or really diminished. Also at dinner tables, also in meetings. Anybody sat in places like that? Yeah. And some of the words that people use to describe that is often tense, awkward, and time-consuming, because the work of minutes can become hours. Deciding anything is like running your car engine with no oil in it. You can smell the engine burn. So I really want to invite you to join me in thinking for the next few minutes about trust as an asset, as a source of wealth, and as a source of power. I've got a few things that I've noticed that actually are really effective in contributing to trust. One is walking towards conflicts when they're small. Now, I know sometimes we've got conflicts in our lives that go from 0 to 60. But I also want to notice that many of us have issues that go on with the people around us that are small and that build over time because we don't attend to them. So one of the things I want you to do is to consider to walk towards conflicts when they're small. And it could sound something like this. Hey, I've noticed that we're not making eye contact with each other the last couple days. Did I say or do anything that's troubling you? Because you matter. I want to know. If someone tells you, yeah, actually, Kit, you said something to me a few days ago that sort of stung me, I take that honesty as a gift and as a choice and as an opportunity to get feedback, because I want to be able to be fearless and I want to be able to move quickly. If people don't give me feedback about the results of my words and actions, how will I ever know and learn? So I thank someone for giving me that feedback. And when people work with me, they have learned that actually I'm hungry for that feedback. I don't just want to hear the strokes. I want to hear, hey, this didn't work. That makes us a much more efficient, effective team. We've got each other's backs. Walk towards conflicts when they're small and encourage the people around you to do the same. The other thing I believe is useful in building trust is to remember that all agreements expire. Every one of them comes stamped with some expiration date. The expiration date is faster if people's weren't really considering all the ramifications of saying yes to something, or when their conditions in life change, or because, like many of us, our hearts are bigger than our calendars. We want to do something. We say yes to it. We get home and think, that was a really bad idea. So when I notice that someone's not showing up with an agreement at work or in a community project or at home in the way that I expected them to, I just go check it out with them. And I say, look, do you need to be blessed and released from this commitment? Did you bite off more than you could chew? I want to hear it. Let's talk about it now. And I do that also as an act of care, because I know when I've made a commitment that I'm not keeping, it feels like kind of crap inside. So I want to be able to offer that. And you get a couple responses. One is people say, yes, I just found out last week my mom has Alzheimer's, or our child care provider quit, or I'm just slammed for some other reason. Great. Let's find someone else to do this thing. Or maybe it remains undone. On the other hand, many people say, oh, no, I really want to do it. I'm on it, and they sign up again, and they do it, and they're excited, and they're grateful because you checked and you indicated your care in a very specific way. I want to also put in a word for when we're in leadership roles, which includes being a parent, to think about being transparent more often. When we act like we have all the answers, especially when we're only pretending, we're not supporting anybody. So I want to just say, hey, I don't know when someone asks me a question. What do you think? That's my response more and more. And because most of my staff is in their 20s, I love empowering people between the ages of 19 and 31 to realize that just because I'm a lot older than them, it doesn't mean I have the answers. Be transparent if you're a leader. Be transparent if you're a parent. Maybe that's why the word parent is in there. I haven't really thought that through yet. The last thing I want to talk about is anger. I became really interested in anger over the years, of course, through the results of my work. And I'm remembering right now, actually, I got a phone call from some schools on September 11th saying, could you come in and work with some kids that are really upset? And I thought, what am I going to do? And they said, bunches of fourth graders, you'll have 15, 20 minutes with each group of kids. And I thought, what am I going to do with children? September 12th, the day after those towers came down. And I thought, I'm going to talk about anger. So I went to the kids and I said to them, look, I want you guys to know something about anger that maybe even the adults around you don't know, which is that anger is never our first feeling in my experience. It's always some other feeling that flashes so quickly that it feels like anger. And my example that I gave to the kids that day was a little kid runs into the road, almost gets hit by a car. Mom, grandma, whoever runs, grabs them, brings them back to the side of the road and shouts, don't ever do that again. Sound angry, but what's going on? Yes, yeah. I want you to get curious about your own anger and the anger of others. That's your homework assignment leaving here. Because my experience so far, from looking at this now for years and other cultures as well as United States, is that anger is another feeling that flashes so intensely. And it's important for us to become well-equipped and I'd say even relaxed with our own anger. Because if we're able to have the 411 on our own anger, we're going to be more useful to other people in doing change work in the world. And especially because a lot of the work that I do now focuses on issues of race in this hyper-segregated community of Rochester, New York, it's critical that I don't need people to cool down before we can have a conversation. So I need to be able to relax with people's upset. I need to be able to relax with their outrage. I don't expect people to become well-adjusted to a maladjusted world, as Dr. King said. So I want to be able to sit with people and roll with that anger and roll with the energy of it. I don't need somebody to calm down in order to have a good conversation. It's an exciting thing, actually, to be able to be sort of chill with your own anger and the anger of others, because there's a tremendous amount of energy in it. Some years ago, in the last 5 years, Gandhi was listed as one of the top 5 world leaders in a survey of global CEOs. Not exactly the world's most touchy-feely group, which I found to be really interesting because he wasn't a man who had an army at his disposal or money. He died with 4 objects in his possession. He didn't have a government position. What he had was an incredible commitment to his own journey as a human being. And I have an idea that if we become equally committed, that we can also make extraordinary changes on behalf of our species and all the species in the world. I'm inspired by the fact that Gandhi said, "My life is my message." And I'm interested in these ideas around trust because I think that they can help all of us have our lives be a message that we're proud of. Thank you very much.